Alright guys, I know it's been a while since the last video I have made, but I have been quite busy and I haven't got too much time left on my hands to properly make videos, hence the delay. I truly wanted to make a video about the Dragon Force Spotlight last week, but then I got the chance to play the actual event, and let me be honest with you all, it wasn't as exciting as Gameloft wanted us to believe, so I choose to not to talk too much in that regard. A couple of days ago, the brand new Drive Syndicate arrived, and well, after driving the Rimac Nevera Air, one of the cars I was looking forward the most to test on Asphalt Legends, I came to the realization that it wasn't like as worth it as I thought it would be, hence why I am making this video. Guys, I have finally realized this is the perfect window for me to stop spending real money on this game for good, and today I will be explaining to you the reasons that led me to realize how big of a mistake will it be to keep spending as much as I have been doing recently. So with nothing else to add, let's jump straight into it. Alright, I don't think any of you guys realize about it, but I haven't purchased any pass this season, and I will be honest, I am not planning to do so probably ever again. This is basically because, as we got the chance to see on the brand new Drive Syndicate, this season Legends Pass car is the exact same as the first car we need to upgrade in order to progress through the first chapter of this Drive Syndicate. So in order to avoid any blueprints I paid for from being turned into trade coins, I think that for me it's better to upgrade the car from this Drive Syndicate and leave it as it is, since it's guaranteed to come back in the future. That's something I learned the hard way, and I got the chance to realize that basically all of the cars I spent money to gold max just as they arrive into the game will basically come back for a much cheaper price in the future. So it doesn't really make sense for me to spend my hard-earned money just to max a car. Most people will get the chance to max a few months later. That's why I will try and just go as far as I can on each special event without having to pay a single dollar on the upcoming special events and whatnot. And then I will just wait to max the car I don't get to at their first arrival to the game. At the end of the day, I kind of justified to myself spending on those situations because I thought I would be using those new upgraded cars much more, but as it turns out, most of the time you guys don't really mind seeing an extremely rare car as the background gameplay of my job sessions, so I guess that with the 316 full golden cars I already have, I am well set to record plenty of clips for my future videos. Talking about cars, that leads me to the second reason, and this whole situation only happened to become a larger issue as I realized that the game was getting more and more stagnant, so spending real money on cars that are starting to feel too similar to some of the cars I already own at Gold Max, or new cars that are just not good in terms of overall performance, or even cars that are literally placeholders more than cars you could properly use and have fun with on multiplayer, just led me to realize that paying for all of that was not a proper justification to dump more and more real money into the game. Because what's the point of spending more money to get a car that is, like on my case, basically the same, if not slightly worse than 4 others of the cars of my collection on that exact same class of rank bracket? Once you sit on top of 360 golden cars, it makes even less sense than it already does, right? Well, that's my second big problem. The third reason is sort of related to the second one, and I will try to be as straightforward as possible. What's the point of spending more money once you have so much of everything that you can just keep playing without the worry of running out of good cards to use on, let's say, multiplayer? Because I don't even play Gauntlet anymore, it feels quite stressful for me, and on time limited events, I just sort of collect the daily credits and that's all. All what the game has to offer, at least on my case, has been covered by the collection I already have, so why should I keep spending? To have more cars on top of the mountain of cars that I already have, it's quite redundant, truly. Also, yeah, I have a ton of tokens, so if an interesting car shows up, I can try and use my tokens to get it, but what if the car shows up through a Drive Syndicate special event? Well, in that case, I guess I would have to let it go unless I had most of the requirements at good stars, I guess. Because even if I missed that theoretical good car, I still would have a great set of cars to play with. Aside from that, once you have many cars, the issue of having a few fuel slots basically disappear, since if you run out of fuel on a specific car, you can just switch to other option, and even more, doing so actually improves your game experience, as instead of having to drive the same top tier cars, you have to switch more often as you run out of fuel, so you end up having to try cars that otherwise you would have never had to. I have to admit that I am also making this video because, well, I have been spending for too long and I think it's time to stop before this game ends on a slower track, as it happened back when I used to play Asphalt 8. Back then, I used to purchase every new car and I used to max them, even if all of those cars felt the same, because I thought that I would be playing Asphalt 8 for much longer than I ended up playing it. So in a way, I never recovered those investments, you could say, since I spend money on the game to make videos and sort of recover a bit of what I spend. No videos, no recovery, so yeah. I still think Asphalt Legends has a couple of years ahead where it will keep pushing great stuff and so on, but at a certain point I am afraid it might not be doing so. Hence why I think this is a great point to take a seat, hide the wallet and just enjoy as much as I can until, Gameloft decides to find a way to screw all the players that don't spend as much as they want, which I am afraid it will eventually happen. However, I would like to clarify that with this video I am not aiming to start anything whatsoever. It is pointless to try to change anything from social media because, as I said on a couple of videos before, most of the active players of this game are not present in social media or, don't use their social medias to engage with Asphalt content. I just wanted to, sort of give a proper explanation of why I might not be able to upgrade cars or play with them in the future. After all, right as I speak, I have completed the game since I have all the cars available to collect at Gold Max, not the Rimac Nevera Air, since I will likely end up unlocking that car at 3 stars for free, but at that point I will not be spending anymore though. As the cherry on top, I have to add that, well, the Dragon Force Spotlight looks good from the outside, but right as the new Drive Syndicate does, it doesn't add anything truly valuable to the game. They will be keeping this path, unfortunately, so I don't feel like I will be tempted into spending on this game in the short to medium term. I hope you all guys got my reasons right. I know this is some of a bit different topic than usual, but that's what it is, I guess. Drop a like, subscribe, and I will see you really soon, as usual, with much more Asphalt content. Goodbye, guys.